Leslie.
And Taryn.
You're gonna love the video you're about to see.
It's part of our simple success system, as easy as ABC 1, 2, 3.
So be ready to take some notes
Take action
and get results.
Oh, snap. I really did get my money's worth.
What are you gonna do with all this stuff?
I think I need to watch that unboxing video.
They did an unboxing video?
Yeah, they're
That's
pretty
really
awesome.
nice.
All right, let's take it in.
Hey, it's Leslie.
And Taryn, we just got done unboxing all of those boxes. And so you may or may not have all of this, but we want to give you an idea of the whole line so that you know what to do and what to expect. And then maybe you'll find some new favorites or learn something that you didn't know before. So step one is I would open all of your boxes and then verify it to the packing slip. Do not panic. Sometimes the company puts things in that are packs. So the individual items are actually where they're listed versus the pack. So if you see any discrepancies, don't panic, don't be alarmed, just call and verify with your sponsor and they can help you out with that.
Yep, and sometimes, especially if you ordered like the family pack or one of our larger packs, a lot of times there will be multiple boxes, and we have had instances where like box 3 out of 5 arrives the next day. So check that as well.
And it actually does say that on the box labels. So if you'll see that it's 3 of 5 or 4 of 5. So just kind of see how many were coming, but sometimes they have to send things from different warehouses. So step one is I would organize things so that they're all together. And anything that you see, like Leslie is pointing out, that are those glass bottles, and then also these two right here, these are our liquids. They do not have to be refrigerated all the time, but they do taste best if they are refrigerated. So I would take one of each of whatever it is that you got and put those in the fridge right away so that they're ready for whenever you take them. You will want to shake them up very, very, very well. And I don't just do one of these. I shake it upside down for quite a while because these are all natural. They don't have binders or fillers. And so they're gonna do what they are naturally meant to do. So you wanna get the full benefit of them.
And I love that they're in the glass bottles because it maintains the integrity of the products. So that's why a lot of people will be like, man, you guys use a lot of glass. We do that because we will never compromise the integrity of our products.
We do what we can. However, if it would compromise it, it's going to have glass. Any extras that you have, so for example, you have 2 go ahead and pick a storage space for all of the extras so that you know where to go. So as soon as you're needing another one, you can go and grab it. So that's what I would do with the liquids first of all. Powders, how do you store those?
I actually have just one cabinet that has like the rollout drawers, and we just organize them. I buy large quantities because I like a deal. So I buy a lot of packs, and so I just store those all in you can store them in your pantry. Some people do that. I do mine in a cabinet like this, and my drawers pull out.
Perfect. We just make sure that we kind of think of our routines. So we have all of our morning stuff together. We have the capsules together. So we just kind of know whatever it is we're looking for, we can go to that space. But make sure you do what's best for your family. And then this little one might be a tricky one that you don't think of putting in the fridge. This one you do want to put in the fridge. That's the liquid cleanse, and it does taste better when it's refrigerated. That's not saying a whole lot.
For sure.
Okay, so let's go over our Core Plus. That's what's kind of featured here. And so this is the hub of our core philosophy. So this is our cleanse, our balance, and our build. And so we have liquid and capsule version of the cleanse. You can take those together or separate. You may or may not have both of them. But what this is doing as a reminder is it is helping identify what does not belong in your body, and it is allowing the body to purge that. It is not just a bowel thing. This is not just about pooping. It will help because the bowels are one of those channels, but it's the liver, the colon, the lungs, lymphatic system, kidneys, bloodstream, and skin. And so that's why it's important to not just take whether you're pooping or not. It's something that is identifying what doesn't belong in your whole system. So this is cleaning at a deep tissue level. So that's why this is something that we take very regularly. We don't really stop because I don't know when I'm not gonna be, around toxins. And so that's just our lifestyle as Americans today.
It is. And what I always like to remind people hear the word cleanse, right? We were cleansing before the school, all right? This is not a tie you to your home for the weekend kind of cleanse. This is a gentle overtime detox that's going to cleanse and detoxify your cells. tissues, organs, right? So like it is gentle over time. And so that's what I love about it. I actually call this one friend for life. I'm like, if you get a friend going to the bathroom 3 times a day, I mean, think about that. When we're babies, like when you have a baby, you feed them, you change a diaper. If we're eating 2 to 3 large meals a day, we should be eliminating 2 to 3 times a day. And so really wrapping your head around that was a game changer for my body actually being able to release weight. So I love that product.
And it should return to your body's natural process. So you actually should have 2 bowel movements in the morning, might just be one. So either supper and lunch are coming out together or separate. So that should happen right away in the first hour of the day. And then the breakfast comes out in the evening. So there's really no reason for your system when it gets into that natural habit to poop outside of your home. Because I know that's something that frustrates people who are like, I'm gonna be at work, I can't do this. You honestly should have that happen at times at home, which is really nice to know that when you work up to that, I don't have to worry about, I've got to find a bathroom fast.
Right.
So balance is our next component. So Goyin tastes absolutely amazing, but this is a blend of herbs and superfruits that basically balance your body chemistry. So it's balancing the mood, the hormones, and the pH. You can take as much of this as you want. This is Marriage Counselor in a bottle, and I don't know how any family functions in teens if they don't have this, male and female. And so if you're ever just like, man, they've got to buy it to them today, whether they're 2 or 20, you can add a little bit more of this. So you can take as little as 1 ounce a day. There have been days that I just pour a wine glass of 9 ounces and call it a day. So you can do that. The next balancer is actually going to be our Calcium K+. And so this is going to give you those minerals that you need, especially at night. So recommend taking this one at night, but it has calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin K. So your body's actually absorbing and utilizing all of those components. And
and I think that's what, Taryn, a lot of people don't realize. I did not realize this when I started taking these products. I didn't realize that if you didn't have those components, your body cannot actually break it down and utilize it. You will notice right off the bat with everything in our line, our number 1 form, our favorite form is liquid because it's bioavailable. It gets in the bloodstream very, very quickly, right? Or a powder that you mix with liquid so it uptakes very efficiently in the body. So just know that when you're seeing these formulations, the more I learned about them, the better I realized they were and the more impressed I was. Because a lot of things you get a product and it's in a shiny package and you're like, every layer that you peel back, you're less impressed. That was huge for me because so many people, and I was one of those people, was taking like this tablet form big calcium pill, and guess what I was utilizing out of that? Nada. Okay, so I just like to point that out because you literally can take an ounce of that. It is amazing, and it gets in the bloodstream very, very quickly. Okay, so that's why they're so brilliantly formulated.
And this one offsets what is happening when you're overly stressed, when you're acidic in your body. So this is balancing that out. And so this is a huge component because Americans are extremely stressed. This is also really key for kids when they are going through growth stages, if they're not sleeping well, if they have mood issues, if they've got some kind of bowel things, because that calcium, magnesium are some of the key things that they need during all those phases. So this is a favorite of parents to really see the side of their kids that they want to see.
And the sleeping, magnesium is a natural muscle relaxant. So if you're somebody that, like, I know Chris is always like, Leslie, stop moving around. Like, almost like I don't have restless leg, but I do, you know what I mean? So that magnesium is huge for me, huge.
So the next component that would be very similar is going to be in our build category, but it's in our daily build. Bottom line is you cannot get what you need from your food today. So this is that check mark to say, I know I got the vitamins, minerals, the nutrients that I needed to be able to function at maximum capacity. And so they are both very effective, the capsules and the liquid. If you're taking the liquid, that's 1 ounce. If you're taking capsules, it's 4 capsules total in the day, but taking 2 at a time, suggested with meals. But this is a huge benefit to your overall family. The energy is going to be the next one in that build category. So this is helping to support your adrenals in a big way. We made sure that we knew if people were going for energy, we kind of knew that they were stressed out, that they were taxing their adrenals, that they might not be so focused. And so what we make sure that we do is we don't stimulate you with caffeine. What we do is we have a well-rounded formula that helps your body come alive on its own and supports what is needing that support if you're the type of person that's reaching for that. So that's a comprehensive formula. We do wish it was called Focus because it just helps you focus. So it's not a jitter, not a crash. You're not going to be amped up, but you're just going to be like, man, I'm way more productive than normal on this one.
Yeah, and I will say this because when I started taking these products, our kids were 3 and 5. This is what I had them split a packet before they did their schoolwork, right? Like this is incredibly safe. And what I love is when I would take it, because I was the energy drinker before this, and so I would get a spike and then a crash, and then a spike and a crash. And all that was doing over time was shredding my adrenal glands. It was just demolishing them. This actually has an adrenal blend in it that will build the adrenal glands up. We don't spike and crash here. It is amazing. Like just a cool, calm energy. And I love that. So I agree with Taryn, it should be called focus, but I say energy and focus.
We'll just call it whatever they call it. Organic sulfur is one of the top minerals in the human body. So this is responsible for so many things. I would highly recommend that you check out the product passports. This is where we go into each of these products in depth. I've done an hour sessions on this product alone, but this one is going to be something that's going to help with allergies, with making sure that your system can regenerate healthy cells. And so this is a regenerative feature that your system needs in a big way. It also helps to purge what does not belong. And it is one of the top components for your liver. Your liver is one of those organs that has over 500 functions. And so this is going to be the one that's going to help them. Now, with that, there's a little bit of a cleansing process. And so starting with a little bit, but being consistent is the key. So not stopping it, but you don't need to take a whole lot. Start with a scoop, work your way up over 2 to 3 weeks, and it's going to do a whole lot, especially in the skin. One of my cool little party tricks, so to speak, is when people say, hey, I noticed that this is working. Well, they're seeing chin strap acne because it's pulling heavy metals and things that don't belong in the brain, and it's pulling them out in the jaw. And so it's neat to see what is happening. And so that's a great component.
For athletes, let me tell you, okay, this is incredible for the joints and connective tissue. So like I see that a lot, and I've had, you know, a gazillion knee surgeries and things like that from being a college athlete. That is incredible for allergies as well. Allergies, joint health, and then a fun fact, like mosquitoes, if you have it in your system, mosquitoes don't like to bite you. So if I live in the Midwest, you live in the Midwest, it's a real thing. So that's just a side note that we've learned along the way.
And they don't flare up as much is what we've noticed too. Like where they usually swell the size of like, you know, tennis balls, they will maybe get to the size of a dime. Mila's chia seed that's sliced. And so this one is a little bit hard for people to wrap their head around how to use it. Just get familiar with it. There are videos on this, but if you just start adding it to food, so you can add it to sauces. I add it to all ground beef. Anytime we have some kind of ground beef in our meal.
Meatloaf, I sprinkle it on salads. We put it on, I mean, really anything that we're having. Cottage cheese, yogurt, it's great.
The biggest thing is have it hydrated before, because then it won't steal your hydration. And so hydrating it before is going to be a key factor to make sure that you get the benefit. But this has amazing omega-3. So this is food for your brain. And so if you're somebody that struggles with memory or struggles with mood, basically mood, mind, and memory are all in that brain. And so really help yourself out with this. Whole host of benefits again, but this one, if it takes a week or two to figure out how to use it, that's okay. It's what usually happens.
Right. And one thing that I like to point out, because I've had several people say, well, Leslie, I can just go to the health food store and get chia. And I'm like, yeah, you can. Cute. Okay, you can. But where this is grown is absolutely incredibly important, very, very close to the equator. But the biggest key, and you can test me on this, and I've had people do it, but because Taryn mentioned the micro slicing, that allows it to maintain the oils. Okay, so if you take, and I tested this, so feel free to, but I took what I was buying, the chia I was buying from the health food store, and I put that in one hand and I blew on it and it just blew away. When you put the micro sliced chia and you blow on it, it's heavy because it has the oil, it stays. So just fun fact, but if you're wanting to know kind of the difference, I get that question a lot. Like, Leslie, I can buy that at the food store. Okay, go ahead. But you're gonna like this better and your body's gonna like this better.
So we really wanted to address the Core Plus because that's the hub of where you're going to camp out, and that is your foundation, that is your base. That's where if you really want true health for the rest of your decades, that's going to be the base. So we'll kind of go through the rest of them a little bit quicker. But acai is the beauty berry, great for hair, skin, and nails. And again, on any of the superfruits, if you take 1 ounce, that's going to be kind of a regular amount. You can go up to 9 ounces daily as a therapeutic amount. So anywhere in between that is going to be where you can camp out, and you can find out a lot of information about those. Noni is the ultimate digestive bitter. So
bitter's keyword.
It tastes terrible and it also smells terrible. And so just know that if that's what's happening, that number one, you got a great batch, and number two, don't dump it out. We have had people do that, but this one will start tasting better the more that your system is in balance. But typically people don't overpour this. This is helping with digestion from start to finish. And so just a huge benefit anytime you have upset stomach, if bowels are off, if your bile is off, if you're not feeling well.
Yes, because what I was going to say on that, it's so successful at helping with the stomach and like tummy issues. If you have kids, like again, my kids were 3 and 5 when we started. This doesn't taste great. It's probably the worst tasting thing we have in the line because we don't add sugars and sweeteners. We're not going to add junk. Okay, we're trying to undo. So I will tell you this, at 3 and 5, my kids recognized the benefit that this gave them and they took it at 3 and 5. So no excuses, adults, you can take it. It's an ounce. You just put it in a shot glass and shoot it.
And you can hide it in something if you need to for them. This is something that you can actually pair it with to hide it a little bit. Mangosteen is antiviral, antihistamine, anti-inflammatory. And so this is something that we used anytime that their allergies were an issue, inflammation was an issue, anytime we needed to calm down our system. As an athlete, anytime you feel puffy or swollen, this is your go-to.
And these are what I call the 1-2 punch for joint pain and allergies. So sulfur and mangosteen together, we don't go a day without it in our house.
Check out, we have recipes that are the, I can't think of what it's called for right now, allergy bomb. So look at that.
Yeah.
There's some different things, and check out guides in different places to where there are different recipes so you know how to utilize this and leverage it. Goji berry is the happy berry, great for libido, blood pressure, triglycerides, and cholesterol, and that's just helping the overall system. This is also very big for the endocrine system, so those glands. This one, I just feel so much different on. I struggled with a lot of mood issues. I had a lot of liver issues before, and this one was a systemic one that helped out in big ways.
Yep, totally agree. I always tell people, especially if they struggle with mood, increase the goyin.
Probiotic.
The marriage counselor in a bottle, the goyin we just went over with that goji, it's incredible together.
So the sports line. Energize comes in 2 different forms. You want to talk about that?
Sure. So, I mean, basically I want you to wrap your head around with the sports line because my husband and I are both college athletes. We deal with a lot of youth athletes. We're actually certified safe for kids. If you understand the hoops you have to jump through to get that done, it's a big deal, okay? Because there's a lot of dangerous supplements out in the marketplace. I love that we are kid friendly. That's huge. So I want you to think about it in timelines, time frames. You can see everything Karen has the green label on it. That means pre-workout. I'm going to take that pre-activity. Okay. So we do all kinds of activity. This is not just for athletes. And I know you're probably going to mention that, but I once had somebody say, you know, if you are like the occasional gardener, garden hard, right? Like do it right. Everybody should treat their body as if they're an athlete, but this is a pre-workout energy. It has amino acids in it. What I want you to really think about is this goes in when you take this pre-energy, yes, or pre-workout, you're gonna have energy to push through your workout, absolutely, but it's really preparing the body to heal before you break it down. Because especially if you're going in to lift weights, you're tearing down the muscle so that it repairs and it's stronger and bigger, right? This is actually gonna start the repair process as you're tearing it down. I love that. I pair the pre-workout energy with our Circulate product. I know you have a lot of great things to say about this. I love because it expands blood vessels. This is the mom version. I'm giving you the practical tips. This expands blood vessels. It pumps blood and oxygen to the muscle, okay? That's really what it does. And so where blood flows, good things happen, right? And so I pair this, especially on my lift days. It's gonna increase my stamina and I'm gonna be able to lift longer and harder. And then Adapt. This is one of my favorites, okay? And I would love for you to kind of, when you talk about Adapt in the stream, but I love this product because basically this increases endurance. When you look at the active ingredient here, they call it black gold, right? It's like when the Russians were kicking our butts in the Olympics. Nobody wants to go back to those days, but when they were utilizing this ingredient. And so the cool thing is that it boosts endurance by 30 to 33%. So I actually take it prior to any type of workout, but especially any type of cardiovascular workout for me, because that's where my endurance really gets tested. So I do a scoop of the Energize, a scoop of the Circulate, and I do the Adapt pre-workout, okay? Is there anything you want to say on that, or do you want me to go through?
I do real quick. So our kids are athletes as well. And so when they really wanted to up their times, you know, figure out however to have that competitive edge, we actually had them take all of these. The Adapt was a game changer in cutting down their times and really enhancing their performance. People were like, I don't understand how your kid's able to do this.
Yeah.
And so this really will give them that edge. Now I want to talk about these two because they're only one ingredient
I'm gonna
difference.
actually do this so you can see it.
So it's Serene and Adapt, but they're only one ingredient's difference.
I got it.
And we use it as strategy because this is going to amp you up just a little bit. This is going to have more of a calming focus, not a downer, but a calming. And so we have a lot of moms that stress is just going to happen. You don't know what the 2-year-old's going to do, or you don't know how the day's going to approach you. This is something that we take proactively. What these two do is helps your body manage stress. So it's not going to change that you're stressed out, but what it's going to change is how your body utilizes it. If you're not getting, or if your body's too stressed, you're not getting oxygen to your brain. It means you're not going to think clearly. You're going to be more volatile. So this is helping oxygen get to your brain so you can actually think clear. Second thing, your hips, thighs, and waist is where you accumulate your extra fat when you have cortisol rise, which is stress. So this is going to keep the stress weight from being able to be added to your hips, thighs, and waist, which is a ginormous component to weight loss as well. And so just think clear and make sure you keep it off your waist. Hydrate.
Oh yeah. So during workout, I mean, we could go into, I mean, we see the electrolyte hydrate products on the market, and we see they get really off in their sodium ratios, right? Sodium and potassium ratios. So what's really cool about this is that A, it's safe, right? It is really cost effective, but the cool thing is that you can take a hydrated athlete and a dehydrated athlete with the exact same skill, the exact same training. And I have lots of football coaches because that's most of the time when their athletes go down with cramps, it's usually football.
Yep.
Or, you know, they're passing out and all the things. And so we actually have a ton of football coaches that live and die by our hydrate product. They provide it for their athletes because when you're talking about hydration, head to head, everything can be exactly the same, but you take a dehydrated kid and they are not able to perform and they can't perform as long. So we do this. Actually, I take hydrate not just during performance. I actually take this a couple times a day. I love it. It's also good to mix with things, but it also comes in multiple flavors, so you can find one that you love. And we all have our favorites. We'll start arguing on this video if we start talking about what our favorite flavors are. And then post-workout recovery, you guys. Again, we're working out, we're tearing down the muscle. We've got to go in and repair the muscle. Everybody's really grabbing some kind of post-workout product. This is unbelievable. It has 2 grams of creatine. Why not 25, right? That was one other thing we took from the Russians. We saw that they were using creatine. And what did we do as Americans? We said, oh,
More's better.
Yeah, if 2's great, let's do 20, 25. And I remember being a college athlete and the trainers coming in and putting us on, I won't say the name of it, but I was doing 20 grams. And I'm not a large person, and I was doing 20 grams. Well, it does 2 things. Okay, first of all, your body naturally produces 2 grams of creatine per day, and it needs to replace 2 grams, not 20. So that excess would go running rampant in the body as free radicals, causing damage. The other thing is it tells your body it doesn't need to naturally produce it anymore because you have excess.
Not a good plan.
So it's so good. You want to take this. It is going to help you basically heal faster and recover faster. So if you're somebody that lifts like maybe leg day twice a week, then just understand you can move those days a little bit closer if you needed to. So it's going to speed recovery. We have people that have surgery and they always put this in their regimen, even if they're not like in the gym doing all the things, just to help the body heal.
Because it's recovering at that point.
Yeah.
And so the reset is going to be a nighttime recovery drink. And so you can talk about that one. These 2 are how I like to go to the gym. I'm not a ginormous athlete, but I also don't want the 2-day sore. And this is how I can just go in and have a great experience, great results, and not feel like I'm dying all the time.
Right. You're like, oh man, I'm glad I did the workout, but reset. This is one that my husband, he was like, I cannot go without it. I cannot go without it. It helps him sleep so much, but it basically repairs through the night, helps your body repair through the night. And so it is incredibly tasty. He does his hot, so just know you can kind of play with that, but like he likes his hot. It tastes like a cider, and I do mine cold. But it's going to help really repair through the night while your body is at rest.
All right, so moving along, we'll talk about gut health a little bit. So probiotic is going to help to make sure that your intestinal flora stays balanced. You should have 80% good, 20% bad. This is going to make sure that that balance is happening so that things can move through. The meat is a collagen, so not only anti-age, it's helping with the joints, but one of my favorite things is actually what it does for the intestines. It actually has a probiotic that gets inside the deep tissue and deep cleans. So imagine having a really dirty washcloth and just trying to wipe a table off with that. That's gonna be a lot of gunk. Well, if you rinse that out, squeeze it, rinse, squeeze, rinse, squeeze, that's essentially what that probiotic does. And so you're getting a deep clean. And if you think, well, I don't really care what my intestines look like, your face does. Because whatever skin issue you are having, you're wearing, or whatever intestinal issue you're wearing on your skin, whether that be your face, your arms, your legs. And so these are two things that should go hand in hand. And you've got to reset your gut flora. A lot of times people are on an antibiotic or they drink or they eat something that just wipes out their gut flora and they don't realize that. These are key components to keep in your routine so that you can make sure you stay on top of that.
Probiotics literally changed my gut. I was one of those people that had I did have cystic acne going on. I had all these things. I was going to the dermatologist. We couldn't figure it out. The gut. It's the mother of your body. It takes care of everything. I'm knocking things over. But it literally, like, I think people really don't understand that connection. Your gut affects everything. And I take both of those because there are different strands. Like, you really do, in my opinion, I would take both of those. And the meat is like the best tasting product we have. It tastes so good, so refreshing.
So let's talk about some of our weight loss things. And so number one, we want to be able to burn fat. The On Track is actually something that's going to tell your body whatever you just ate does not have enough sugar. It probably did, and so it's lying to your body. But then it says, okay, since we didn't get sugar, then we need to go after stored fat to use as fuel. When your body's using fat as fuel, it's not going to store new. And so this has a trifecta effect that allows you to block what you're eating, go after your stored fat and not store more. This is something that is safe for kiddos, and so this can help out in a big way. Also, if you have somebody that has a lot of sugar cravings or should not have sugar because they've got some like yeast overgrowth, anything that's like the least amount of sugar that you can have in the body, the better. We're eating way too much sugar. This can help to mitigate some of that. The next is to boost your metabolism. And so both of these support the metabolism. It's supporting the thyroid, helping out your overall system. So what's the difference? Met10 has a craving carpet or
Control. Yeah, curving. Same thing.
Control your cravings. You can tell I don't take that one a whole lot. And then the Met Max is going to give you more of a boost of energy. And so energy or cravings, whichever is the bigger factor for you, you can choose either of those. And then the Serene, again, I know I already talked about that, but that's going to be what's going to keep your body from storing stress as fat on your body. So those have been what I was able to lose, the whole line, the Core Plus primarily in these. I've lost 54 pounds and I've kept it off over the last 10 years. And so that's been my tool.
How many pounds?
54.
That's crazy. And
yeah.
I saw that all happen. So okay, I was like, wow, yeah, it was more than 50 pounds.
It was crazy, isn't it? And then this is a new product to our line, but Magic is one that really helps systemically go and support all of the organs that when something's off there, then your body is just going to be an accumulating fat mess. And so this is going to support your liver. It's going to support your endocrine system. It's supporting overall. So it can be just simpler to take. And this is just really powerful. But we've seen people, the biggest change is not only in the waist, also in their measurements, but we are seeing some really cool things in blood work, and blood work doesn't lie. Right. And so when certain things are off in your blood work, you know you're not in a good state. So this is something that's helping at a very systemic level, but make sure you track. We talk about how you can track and take things, but you really need to pay attention to how your body's shifting towards health, because just because you may or may not lose however many pounds that you think is good in a certain amount of time, your body might be saying, I'm a whole different person, please continue doing this.
Yeah, I always say pay attention to inches, because Taryn has me beat. I don't like to lose, but I started these products and I've lost over 40 pounds and have kept that off now for years and years and years. And these products, what I want to say about these products here, because you know, you're hearing, oh, metabolism and appetite control, craving control, the reality is we all kind of struggle with different things. You'll find which one is most effective for you. When I started, we didn't have all these products, right?
No.
And so I would say the same thing, like for me, it's appetite control. So I pick my products based on that, right? But losing 40 pounds and being able to keep that off, a large part of that, and I'm always super clear when I'm talking to people, especially we help a lot of people with, like menopausal women with weight loss, with the menopause belly. This core system is absolutely cannot be overlooked as far as making sure your body's functioning properly, as far as maintenance. So I just always want to mention that, because some people are like, well, oh, just give me the weight loss. Okay, that's great and that's fine. But again, we want this to be such a healthy, sustainable weight loss. We want your body functioning optimally.
This is a little hidden component in your body. So when your body wants to start cleansing and purging and getting into a healthier zone of offletting what it doesn't like, what it does at first is it gets scared and it's like, I'm not used to purging, I'm not used to detoxing, I'm not used to getting rid of things, so we have to train it. Well, what it can do in the meantime is very frustrating, because it transfers those toxins into your subcutaneous fat. Well, daily detox.
That's a mouthful. Subcutaneous.
Yes.
What?
Subcutaneous fat.
There you go.
So daily detox is one that will help your body to start understanding the process of identifying what doesn't belong, packaging it up in a way that it needs to get out, and helping that cleanse get it out. And so if you are sitting there and you're like, man, I feel like I just gained weight, or I feel puffier, and you notice that when you start doing good things that it almost seems like it went backwards, this is hands down what you need. That's why we love the Renpho scale. So you can see that that number is actually going up, so you can see what that purge pattern is. But hands down, this is going to help your body identify that. And this does the really good foundational work in order to get your body into a great pattern. So Pure Excel, honestly, the best way to describe this is it's a heat-seeking missile that you don't need to know what's going on in your body. It does, and it goes and helps it out. And so people will feel like they're sleeping better, like they have more energy, not because it has any caffeine, but just because they feel like Superwoman or Superman. And
everybody wants to feel like that.
Right? Well, and it has glutathione in it. There's been a lot of talk about glutathione and how to keep your levels high, and this is something that will help do that for you. The Neuro Boost is for the brain, so helping to give you that good focused energy. And SB7 sounds really complicated as an ingredient. It's actually just 7 vegetables that are very helpful. And so this is getting your system to really open up those pathways, especially in your brain. Mm-hmm. And so Neuro Boost is something that you can take. We have noticed a huge amount of focus with it in those individuals that struggle with focus and just feeling better and more productive overall. Vision 1 is exactly what it says, so that's helping with your vision. Now, this is not when you're going to notice immediately, but it's really cool to see what happens when you go to the eye doctor 6 months or a year later as to what is happening, because it's just really strong. I'll have Leslie talk about the skin defense here in a second, but let me talk about the immune products. So Immune 6 is systemically helping your body to be a stronger vessel. So it's building up whether or not you have more resistance overall, that if anything were to come at you. So this is one that's just as a regular routine basis, it's really helping. I would highly suggest going to Google Scholar and looking at what the benefits of the ingredients are, because that was a fascinating scroll for me. But huge benefit to just overall health. We take that on a consistent basis. Immune 6, this is what you want seasonally. So when the kids go back to school, oh sorry, Immune Plus. I'm showing you correctly, I'm saying it wrong. So Immune Plus is what you want when you go back to school. You want to start taking this a week to 2 before you are going to be in areas of higher traffic. So if you're going to a city, if you're going to be traveling in airports, if you're going to be in airplanes, if you are going to be at Thanksgiving or Christmas or wherever, all of a sudden you're changing your pattern, you're going to be around more people. Mm-hmm. If you have this in your system a week or 2 before and then continue it a week or 2 after that shift in pattern, chances are you're not going to come down with what everybody else is going to pass around.
Right. It really doesn't matter what's coming at you. You want your immune system functioning properly. So that's huge. Especially for kiddos. I always go back to kiddos because my kids they were always sick before we started on the products. And then, I mean, they haven't had any antibiotics other than my daughter had a snowboarding accident. She had to have stitches internally and they made her take one. She was so mad. However, okay, this is the same product. This is Skin Defense. One is like a little travel bottle. One is larger. Just think antibacterial. Okay, so The cool thing is that when you start spraying all the stuff with all the chemicals, that's not great, right? More toxins we're taking in. This has alcohol free, right? I'm gonna spray this on doorknobs. This, if you fall down, scrape your knee. This does not sting, so kids love it. So anything you would put like antibacterial cream on, anytime you would want to sanitize anything, this is what we use. And it is a clear, tasteless spray. I've actually saw the doctor who formulated this, like spray this and got it in his eyes, and he wanted to make sure everything was all clear. And
on purpose he did that.
On purpose, right? So like it's safe, it's tasteless, it's amazing.
Pets
so
too.
Pets, totally safe for pets. So anyway. Cool.
I like
Fun
to
fact.
spray it on their paws so it's not all over my house.
There you go.
The greens is going to be just a huge benefit of getting all those greens that you're never going to eat that many in a day. You can just do one simple scoop. You can add it to a shake. You can take it on its own. You can add it to different things. We have a great recipe for like a latte that almost tastes like a chai latte that's warm in the winter. And so this one, just make sure you're getting in your greens. And if you can get that into smoothies, you could put it in your super fruits, whatever it is you want to do, just make sure that you're actually getting it in. Side note, with the Hydrate and the Mila and this, hands down, this has been amazing for women and girls with cramps. Anytime that they are just miserable, this is going to help to alleviate a lot of that, which is just a huge benefit that you're not having to reach towards something in the cabinet that's going to affect your liver in a negative way.
Love it. Okay. Do you want to talk about this? I have a million things I could say about it because I really focus on women and muscle mass, and we do not, as a society, take in enough protein, especially clean protein, because it does matter whether it's clean or not and how your body responds to it. Because people will say, oh, I get, and they're drinking like junk protein fillers. This is a complete meal, like prebiotics, probiotics, superfruits. I mean, it is chock full of nutrition, and you're going to get more nutrition out of one serving of this shake than most people are going to get in their entire week on your block, right? Like in your neighborhood. I can assure you of that. But what I love is that it is a complete meal, and I want you to think of it like that. So I start my day pretty much, unless I'm traveling every single day, is with a shake, because I want a good solid base to start my day. So I love it. But
I think she covered it extremely well.
I'm pretty passionate about it, right? Because it's such a simple, easy way to make a shake and go and really fuel your body. So
good protein is honestly very expensive, and so this is how I leverage my funds, because per serving this is so economical, and it's a vegan vanilla shake. It's easy for my body to break down. If I'm going to get the high quality protein that I want for my body, number one, it's going to be more expensive, and number two, it's going to take more for my body to break it down. So I love that this is a simple way to get it into my system fast, and I know that this is a very easy way that I'll get nutrients into my family without them realizing it. I'll make a fun little smoothie. I'll put peanut butter in it, or I'll mix something up. It's in addition to what they're normally doing. But if we're craving ice cream, I'm going to be blending something up, putting it in the freezer, and letting them eat it as ice cream. And so this is just something that is a huge tool to not only get in your system by itself as a meal replacement, but it's a huge tool to get in some of the things that may not taste good. Maybe you want your kids to have the noni. Well, hide it. This is where you're going to start hiding a lot of things. You can put the Mila in there. And so this is just a toolkit that you should have on hand. And if you're not eating really well, this could at least say, I know I ate one really great meal every single day. It's easy to get your kids to take before they go to school in the morning. If they're like, I don't have time for breakfast, they have time for a shake.
And do not miss protein with breakfast. Okay, like that's an absolute no-go. Okay, I have so many people who's like, oh, I just drink my coffee and then I don't eat until noon. Okay, well, you woke up, your metabolism wants to get going, and it can't. Okay, like trust me, you want to put the protein in first thing in the morning. So I'm big on that. I have women that do it, they struggle with getting, they just don't, some people don't love meat, and so they know they're low on protein, and they'll do an extra scoop in the afternoon. So there are days when it's just easier for me to get protein in. I do 2 shakes a day sometimes. My favorite. So Pure Cafe, one of my favorites. I have several favorites. You'll hear me say that a lot. But this one is like a fat burning coffee, and I love it. I am one of those people that loves to drink coffee. And so first thing in the morning, I look forward to it. Taryn gets tickled at me because I'm like, I can't really function until I have this, but it's mocha flavored. So it tastes really good, and you will feel physically heated. Sometimes you'll feel like your body actually heating up from the fat burning effect. So we love it. 40 calories. You're not going to find any artificial sweeteners, colors, dyes in any of our products, which I absolutely love. This is sweetened with stevia. It tastes amazing.
So last but not least, when you're doing all of this good inside your body, you want to make sure that you're not putting toxins on your skin. And so not only do we have a very clean line, we have a very effective line. So Scientia is our skincare line, and it is developed in Korea. If you don't know this about Korea, they are 30 years ahead of us in skincare. They may be in their 80s and they look better than 20-year-olds. Okay, so you want to follow people with results, and Korea is the one with skincare. So it's a 4-step system that you use in this little kit. So you are going to have step 1 is the cleanser, step 2 is the toner, step 3 is the emulsion, so that's like a lighter moisturizer and a serum combined. And then we have our cream, so you can use that daily if you want, or you could just use that overnight. One new component that we have is actually the peptide spray. So this is going to keep your skin moisturized throughout the day. So this is something to put in your purse, put in your car, and then just spray when you think about it. If you feel like your skin is dry, if you feel like you are aging, then go ahead and spray that. I suggest spraying it on your neck and face, but this is anti-aging in a bottle. I get so many compliments on my skin, and I've been absolutely thrilled with how clean this is, how easy it is to use, and honestly, how cheap it is.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, because the reality is I was in South Korea at an event a few years ago. I guess it was like maybe 4 years ago, and I was blown away by, you know, if you go to the mall in the US, there's like, you know, clothing store, shoe store, clothing store, Sephora, clothing store, shoe store, purse store, whatever. It is completely flip-flopped in Korea. I was going from shop to shop, and it was skincare, clothing store. I was completely flip-flopped, right? But here's the reality. They are that far advanced. So this is literally, they call it like Korean glass skin.
Yes, skin.
But the cool thing is like you were talking about, you know, we're doing all of these things for the inside of our body. Your skin is your largest organ. It absorbs absolutely everything that you put on it. And I will never forget like all the like horrible lotions I was lathering on, because I would always have dry skin, which guess what? That was alleviated when I started putting good things in. So we want to make sure that we're not like just adding to the problem as we're getting rid of everything. But cost-wise, guys, those bottles are huge. And I was able to replace one product. I can buy the entire kit for the replacement of one product that I was using. It is absolutely affordable. I love it. My kids use it. Everybody in my household uses that line now.
But I can get anywhere between 6 to 8 months out of mine, and so some people it might be 3 months. It just depends on what your skin needs, but that one is hands down a huge value. So needless to say, we were long-winded. However, you got a lot, and so you will understand how you can leverage this, utilize it, and now you know exactly what it is that this line has to offer, understanding the benefit. Do you have to know everything we know? No. But over the last decade, this is what we have done. We have used this as our toolkit. We know that when the holidays come, we're gonna have some more cravings. And so we know how to leverage this, how to use it, how to know what our body is saying. And I think the most exciting thing for me is knowing that my kids actually can do the same. So we know how to strategically get the best out of our body. We know what it's saying, we know how to utilize it. So these are not just pretty things that might taste good, might not. Bottom line is this is your toolkit to get the most out of life. And so thank you so much for watching, and anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right.
Happy unboxing.
Cheers.